Chris Daughtry here with another edition of the Alabama Football Report. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be breaking down some of the injury news and rumors that came out this morning. Kalen DeBoer talking to media during the SEC teleconference. There's also another player that we're going to hit at the end of today's show that was injured back during spring practice. Want to bring it up again today. But before we get into that, guys, go ahead and share today's video for me. There's a lot of Alabama fans out there that may not follow the Crimson Tide, as closely on a day-to-day thing that, a lot of you guys do. So help them out. Share it on social media, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Just do me a favor. Help those fans out. Spread the word. Share today's video for me right now. First player up on our injury report today, really the biggest player I think that everybody really wants to know about, is Kendrick Law. Kalen DeBoer telling media during SEC Media Day today that he is day-to-day this week with a lower leg injury. This is exactly what Kalen DeBoer said this morning about Kendrick Law. He said he's trying to work through it. He's trying to do everything he can to get out there. He was really the critical piece to the success that we had against Wisconsin and the last week's game against Georgia. He's getting better and better every single week. But from an injury standpoint, we're still kind of seeing. I wouldn't rule him out, and I wouldn't say he's a for sure go right now. And I think that's a very notable thing that he said right there. Not a for sure go, but would not rule him out. So on tonight's injury report, I would assume that it would be listed as questionable for this coming game against Vanderbilt. And Kendrick Law is really, you got a pretty solid wide receiver core, but Kendrick Law is a guy that you want out there for a number of different reasons. He's got that big play ability. He's a super fast guy. He's got that breakaway speed, and look, Alabama just hasn't really, gotten him the ball a lot this year. Only 4, total targets, receptions and carries so far this season. And actually in those rushing stats, he's got 6 yards on 2 carries, had 7 before last game. So he got 1 carry in this past game against Georgia and actually lost a yard on that. But still, 2 receptions for 41 yards. Man, this is a guy that I would love to see Alabama get in the game plan a whole lot more. Get the ball in his hands. I know you got a lot of playmakers out there, and Kendrick Law is really one of those guys who's kind of the backbone of this wide receiver core. Does a lot in the blocking. We saw him really bully a lot of those Wisconsin players and some of those Georgia players, especially early in the game on Saturday. So I would love to see Alabama get Kendrick Law more involved in the game plan, but for right now, I would just love to see him get out on the field this weekend. So let me know in the comments section, guys, will Kendrick Law play this weekend? Predict it for me. Let me know at the pinned comment of today's video what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no. Like I said, it is the pinned comment, so that YouTube ad is probably going to come right after this. That's totally fine. You can ignore it. Get down there and let me know what you think. The next player on today's injury report, not a big thing, but, he did get banged up during the game, so I wanted to bring him up. DeVonta Smith, Kalen DeBoer said, was just going through cramps, and, he's been back out there during practice this week, so, very good sign there. Kind of assumed it was just cramps, but wanted to throw him in the injury report as well today. DeVonta Smith has just been absolutely phenomenal for you this year. He's a guy that's been banged up in his career. Last year, Nick Saban said, he's really a guy that we would love to get out on the field, but he just keeps, getting injured, and it's been a number of different things, whether it was the ankle. I think he had a shoulder injury last year as well. So, DeVonta Smith has really been a guy that has been very, very steady for the Crimson Tide this year at that Husky position. I really like what Red Morgan also brings as a backup at that Husky position. Thought he went in and played pretty well when DeVonta Smith went out in that game. But, you saw in the game versus Georgia, early in the game, they tried to go after him as well, alongside Zabian Brown. And, early in the game, he got that offensive pass interference called. Just because he was super sticky in coverage. And, he's just, been very sticky so far this year on those opposing wide receivers. So, he's definitely a guy that you want out there on the field. And it's good to know that all it was cramps during that Georgia game. Before we continue on our injury report, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, and that is Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats so you guys do not have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is just curation that makes it easier to help you save more on sports. They've got concert tickets, they've got comedy, stand-up comedians, they've got theater. Anything you need a ticket for, pretty much Game Time has got that. They've got prices on the Game Time app that actually go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So if you're going to Nashville this weekend, or if you're just around Nashville and you're an Alabama fan, it's Bryant-Denny North. There's a lot of Bama fans that go to those Vanderbilt games on the road. And look, you can get tickets last minute if you want to. They have all-in prices. You toggle this feature on, and it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They've also got seat views that I just love so much from this Game Time app. You get a panoramic view from your seat, so you don't get blocked out by any, if you're going to a baseball game, a foul pole. You don't want to be sitting behind that at the end of the day. So, Game Time, they have the best features. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. Download Game Time today, because what time is it? It's game time. Tim Keenan also went down late in that game against Georgia. Don't really know the full extent to, really what that injury was, but we got some photos from the Alabama, athletic staff, their media staff, of Tim Keenan at practice on Tuesday. So I would assume he is good to go this week. Probably just got banged up. Maybe he got kicked in the shin or something like that. Kind of just guessing there, but definitely a guy that you want out on the field because, man, he's been a phenomenal run stopper for you this year, too. 9 stops so far this season for Tim Keenan, and really that's just, plays that results in a negative for the offense. So not necessarily a TFL, but maybe you get stuffed for 1 yard. That counts as a stop. He's got a couple TFLs this year, a couple of sacks as well. So, definitely a guy that you want out there. And look, I know you got Vanderbilt coming up this week, but still, they're an RPO, really heavy type of offense. So definitely want somebody up front if they decide, they want to do some kind of, runs up the middle and kind of incorporate those things as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We will have an SEC availability report that comes out tonight. It usually comes out like 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be at home, but, the grind don't stop. We will do a short on that for you guys. So make sure you are subscribed right here. That's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. One more player that, he did play in the past game against Georgia, but he was banged up going into it. Game time decision was Qua Russaw. Seems like he's pretty much good to go. He had a leg injury, and man, that's a really good thing that he's going to be able to go this weekend against Vanderbilt. And man, the absolute just grind that this kid went through during the bye week and during the game to be able to play in that game. Coach Womack talked about in the press conference this past Monday about just, all the things that he went through. Ends up forcing a fumble in that game. And, look, it's a very, very critical moment in the game that, Georgia really started, to kind of get their comeback going. So, really good to see Qua Russaw, doing pretty solid. And it seems like he's going to be good to go this weekend as well. Also, one more player that I want to give a little bit of an update on. Jalen Hale injured his knee back during the spring, and Alabama, before their game against Georgia, put out a nice video of, the guys running out of the tunnel onto the field. And if you look kind of to the lower left of your screen right there, you see number 14. Yes, he has that leg brace on, but a very, very positive sign, I think. He's actually running, and he even did like a little hop step to the left to avoid a cameraman as well. So, not just your typical, kind of jogging out onto the field, also kind of got a little bit of left and right that he's able to do. So, that's not the biggest injury, update, but Jalen Hale did say, he tweeted a couple months ago that he was going to make a comeback this year. Now, you can take that with a grain of salt. Maybe that's just some hopium. That he's going to be able to get out there. But, look, I think it is a very positive sign that Jalen Hale is actually, able to run out onto the field. I think that's a very positive note. And you saw flashes from him last year in his freshman season. Had 2 receptions against Ole Miss for 67 yards. He had a big play against Kentucky for 51 yards. Ended up on the season 5 receptions for 148 yards. That's pretty solid. Could you imagine having him out there with Ryan Williams, Kendrick Law, Jeremy Bernard? He would just add another weapon to Alabama's offense. And whether he's able to get back this year, we don't know quite yet, but it would be an absolutely amazing story. And, as explosive as Alabama's offense right now, could you imagine Jalen Hale being incorporated in this offense as well? I absolutely could not. That would be crazy and, very scary for opposing defenses. So prediction time here, and the last opportunity for you guys to get in the comments. You guys think Jalen Hale will return here in 2024? Whether that's, late in the season or possibly even, a playoff berth for the Crimson Tide. Anytime during the season, type 1 if you think he will return, or type 0 if you think probably, that's probably not going to happen.